Hey guys, Steve Petrato here with Horizon Hobby, and along with my good friend James Haley from the Blade team, one of our senior designers and category managers with the company. We have an exciting new announcement today. This is the Blade Theory X airframe kit. Now, you've known Blade for being a convenience brand, one that brings you products that are ready to fly, but this is the first airframe that we've brought to market, and it is a full carbon fiber airframe designed specifically for FPV racing. So James, let's jump right into this. You and I have been working on this for a long time, along with the rest of the team. You drew it with some of our input, and it's become this really cool project within the team. I even flew it at the regional qualifiers out in Phoenix a little while ago, and we got third place with it. This frame is very competitive. So let's jump into some of the key features. What are some of your favorite things about this frame?
I like that the frame's pretty versatile depending on your skill level to build. I mean, the ESC's going to the arms kind of standard, but being able to stack everything vertically kind of keeps everything centralized and not have a lot of wires hanging out there.
The build looks very clean. I know that when I'm flying this, it doesn't really feel top heavy at all. With the battery mounted below, it gives you this very smooth feeling. I never feel like it's an awkward shape. It does look tall, but with the weight, how it's centralized, it doesn't feel it at all.
Yep. And the key with if you have a longer frame, when you're going at a 45-degree angle or even higher, when you're going through the gate, you have a very tall presence. Mm-hmm. Having it stacked vertically centralized, you're keeping all that presence still in the same plane, so you're not adding any height to actually going through the gate.
Sure.
And I need all the help I can get to get through the gates.
One of the things I like the most is really the camera tilt on this model. This is an unlimited, really, camera tilt. So talk about kind of how that works.
Yeah, so it just mounts on the standoff here. The standoff here, it uses the same standoffs for this tray here, as well as any standoff here across the top.
Sure.
They're 35mm standoffs. They're a little tall, but the idea there is to allow for any type of video transmitter. Also your skill level of building. So, if you don't have a really condensed, hard soldered setup, you can always, use connectors if you want, and it'll be a little taller, but that way it allows everybody to do something out of the box. If you're really skilled and you want a lower profile like you have here, you can always do a 25 or even a 20mm standoff, keep the height even lower, which will also increase, your durability, and pretty heavy crash.
Yeah. So, and also I noticed on the one on the left we have our GoPro Session 3D printed mount. This frame was designed to carry both the GoPro Session and the GoPro Hero 3 and 4, which is kind of a unique thing, I think, because you see X frames like this in the market, and either they're designed for a camera on top and they're kind of heavy, or they're designed for racing with no camera on top. But with this, the way you have this design, it doesn't add any really major weight to the frame, and you can run with or without it, and it doesn't add any extra wind block or force on the model.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I always hated, is if you wanted to run like a smaller X frame that was made for merely racing, you couldn't really go record with it, which is always part of the fun, is being able to share what you're doing. Sure. Also, if you wanted to actually go out and just do some freestyle and fly around trees or something, you couldn't really do it and add a camera and have it protected well.
Yeah. So what we've done, guys, and this is pretty cool for Blades, first time we've done this, is we've went to Thingiverse. If you're not familiar with Thingiverse.com, it's a great place for free 3D printed CAD files. So James has uploaded the Session mount and also a 3D printed skirt, right, that goes around the bottom of the frame to protect your electronics from dirt, grass. As you can see, there's plenty of grass on these as we were racing them recently. But those are nice pieces. They're totally free. The CAD's up there online. Go to Thingiverse under Blade RC. You can check those out right there. So it's pretty cool. But that GoPro Session mount, we've printed it with tough ink, right? So it's really
very flexible, but it's very durable at the same time. It allows you to slide the camera in there. Mm-hmm. It'll stay in there. The new version actually that we uploaded has little tabs to keep it in there even in a hard hit. Yeah. So you don't have to use a separate strap or anything.
Yeah. So really nice. You don't have to buy it. If you've got a 3D printer or someone who does, actually just download that file or send it to them. It's really nice.
Yep.
So again, this model was designed for competitive FPV racing or really just fun flying if you're just into building. And it fits the standard flight controller, so Naze, SPF3, Lux, KISS flight controller, all those different ones, along with any size VTX. We run a 200 milliwatt. I think we've been running our Spectrum VTX in these, and they do have a 90 degree. I'm going to spin this model around so you can see it here, but we've got a hole in the carbon back here for a 90 degree SMA. and that's going to allow you to run your video transmitter, antenna straight up out of the model, not coming out the back. It's away from the props. You're not going to cut anything.
And with the GoPro mount there, with the standoff, it's pretty well guarded. So if you're running the shorter style antennas, like the IB Crazies or the Triumphs,
sure,
it's well protected, especially with the GoPro mount. I mean, it helps a lot in that.
Yeah, and one thing I kind of found that last weekend racing in Phoenix is with my transponder, without the camera, it's actually a really perfect perch for the transponder on top of the quad here without the camera.
Yep.
So I just have a female servo lead in there. I plug my transponder into that, and then I just kind of electrical tape the transponder to it, and it carried it perfectly.
Yep.
It's not awkward. A lot of times these small frames are so hard to get a transponder on for racing. This one it's kind of an all-purpose. Those little ears, I like to call them, really help a lot in just mounting everything else.
Yeah, it makes it a nice platform to use for anything.
Yeah. Tell me about the carbon. So what kind of thickness and durability? That's a big thing.
Yep. So we're using just standard 4mm carbon on the main frame for the center section there. Working out really well for us. Obviously, if you crash hard enough, anything can break. But in a race scenario, we're having really good luck with it.
I dinged it again. We're good though.
It's got your standard mounting bolts for your flight control, as well as the bolts out there for the center section. It'll accept 16 or 19mm motors. They're all slotted, so you can rotate your motor however you need to get the wires down there. On the 5-inch version, we're running mainly 20 amp ESCs, so the new blade version, ready-mades, anything will pretty much fit on there pretty well. And obviously just tape or electrical tape, kind of the standard.
Yeah, the standard race quad build kit always includes some electrical tape.
If you don't need electrical tape, I got it. Then the top center section is actually the two camera side plates are 2mm carbon. We actually originally had a cool logo in there, didn't work out, broke really quickly, so it's a solid piece, and having really good luck with that. It's just got tabs that lock into this center section here. There's no left or right, so you have a nut with a screw, and that'll sit just like that. Yeah. Standoff.
And that design has been used in the past in other models, and I think we really kind of nailed it down where it's a tight fit, it's thick carbon on thick carbon, and with it all bolted together, that thing is rigid. I mean, it's very, very strong.
Yeah, we the first version, actually, kind of one of the prototypes, had a little bit looser tolerances, and you could pull the carbon out really easily. So we tightened up everything. It's actually a little bit of a struggle to get it together, but once you have it together, we're having really good luck with it. Same thing with this bottom section. One thing to note is if you're, where your antenna comes out on your SMA, on your VTX, you can run it this way or you can run it that way, depending on which way.
And same thing with the XT60 connector there.
So if you have the PDB, which way your positive and negative come out on your PDB, you can always switch the frame. So that way your wires aren't crossing, you can have them as short as possible. One thing to note here on the camera mount, that's your mount for your camera, so it does use the ring on the lens, which makes it universal for all the cameras out there. And then, like I said, any of the standoffs, it just bolts right on there. So it's really easy to take your camera off if you need to focus it instead of trying to focus it in the model.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were racing at daytime and at nighttime within the same day, and I ran a daytime camera setup and a nighttime camera setup. And the guys that had the longer frames had to take their whole top tray off, and they spent 15 minutes changing the camera, and I was done in like a minute and a half because it's 2 screws on the side, unplug, put a new camera in, and go. So if you have that situation, or you blow up a camera, or you just need to focus one, it's so nice. It's such an easy setup.
And like you said, for changing camera angle, just 2 screws on the side, loosen them up. Or if you don't even want to change your camera angle, if you're really particular and have it the way you set, you can just take the 2 screws right off the front and have it, another camera with those mounts already on there, and be able to swap it.
Yeah, and I prefer the 2.1 lens. I know you prefer the 2.8 lens. I like to run a higher camera angle because the 2.1 you can see a lot more. So you've got the range. I mean, I can run 60 degrees of camera angle or more if I wanted to, and it runs it just fine. And the power system on board these things these days, as you guys know, is just insane. So this frame handles it very well. It's nice. So is there anything else that we missed here?
I don't think so.
I think that's it, guys. This is one of the coolest frames that I've had the pleasure of working on with James, and I'm glad that we're able to bring it to market under Blade, through Horizon, through all of our dealers. So you guys will see it in store soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Take care.